Virgin Voyages, Resilient Lady out of San Juan. This is the December 6th sailing. This is the recap and review. What was the sailing like? Was it any good? What were the highlights? What were the lowlights? What's changed? What entertainment was on board? So much more. Plus, let's hear from the sailors coming up. And if you're new here, yo, I'm Christine Lozada with Where in the World is CL. I make travel videos every week to help you get up, get out, and go travel. This is part of a series. Every sailing I'm on, I'm sharing with you a recap of what it was like, because I see so many differences between each of the sailings I'm on. And I want to share very honestly with you what's good, what's not, what's changed, and all the things so you are in the know. Let's talk about what this sailing is. This sailing was 8 nights, 9 days. And what was really special about this sailing is we had a holiday theme. We'll talk about more on what that means later in this video. But the price of this sailing for a sea terrace room was about this much. Obviously more or less depending on your room type, but if you're a smart traveler, you could get way more if you book with us. Don't forget to price compare. And one other thing that was really unique about this itinerary is that we were at port a lot, which means we only got out of all of our days one single sea day. That means the entertainment looked a little bit different. The lineup looked a little bit different than what I'm normally used to across all of the other sailings I've done, but it made it a sailing that was really focused around the ports. And what was great about this sailing is we had phenomenal weather, really phenomenal weather. That meant things like we had our sail away party outside, or the Scarlet Night pool party happened at the pool and not indoors in the Red Room. We had beautiful days at port, so people really went out to explore. And so this was just a different sailing, because as people were out and about enjoying things, as they came back to the ship, it was less, not to say it wasn't, it was less about the ship experience and more about the ports. And so what that meant as a sailor on board is two things. One,
the parties were dead.
And if you haven't sailed with Virgin Voyages before, and if you were on this sailing, please add your comments below. I want to hear your perspective on what this sailing is like. And don't forget, we're going to hear from other sailors at the end of this video. But relative to other sailings I've been on, this was very, very quiet in the Manor at night. And two things happened. One, the DJs would start the parties way later than normal. Usually the parties start at 11, but now a lot of them were starting at midnight. It also meant that I'm used to being on sailings where every single night there is a themed party. Because this is a longer sailing, there were a couple themed nights, but most of the nights were just normal, like club night with the DJ, which, to be honest, I really enjoyed the DJs on board this sailing. I was dancing it up in the Manor every single night, regardless of how many people were there. On the nights that there were themed nights, lots of people turned up. Scarlet Night was fantastic. I experienced for my first time the 80s party, Rubik's. That was really fun. We also had the normal We Fancy and a couple other parties like the pajama party, and you'll hear about what was different in the holiday edition of that. But overall, I would say because we had a relatively full sailing, we had 2,280 people on board this sailing, because people were out and about enjoying the sunshine, getting a lot of sun and feeling tired. We had a lot of people enjoying the weather, enjoying the ports, and then coming back and using their ship time to rest and relax. There were plenty of events that were happening where people turned up and turned out. It was awesome. But relative to other sailings, especially the sailings out of Miami, this was a different vibe than what I'm used to. Let's talk about the entertainment that was on board this sailing, because hands down, this is some of the best entertainment I've seen across the 15 sailings I've been on. This is one of the first times that I heard people actively saying, oh, I'm gonna go see that again. Oh yes, I wanna see that show again. This is a sailing with amazing entertainment, and that was driven by a couple things. One is Lola's Library. This is a silly act that was a little bit risque, but not too risque. Yes, the rip away pants had more rip-away pants underneath. But there were other shows I've never seen before, such as Another Rose. And for those who have not seen Another Rose, this is a paid event. And people are always like, oh my gosh, what do you mean paid? Why is it not included? That's because there's unlimited champagne that comes with this dinner and a show. And there's only so many seats in the house. It's held in the Manor. And so Another Rose is unlimited champagne. They also served a lot of really fun cocktails throughout it. And that's included in, at the time of this sailing, $50 for the show, which
I drank well past that amount.
Another Rose was really fantastic, and another one is Persephone, which was held in the Red Room. People loved this. I loved this show. And then one that is available across many of the other ships is the Misbehave show. So this is the lineup of entertainment that was on board. And if you're like, oh my gosh, like, how do I know what entertainment is on my ship? I always recommend to people to go to the Virgin Voyages website, look at the entertainment page. It breaks it out by ship and tells you what's on board so that you can have a sense for your sailing. But there's also the rotating stage, i.e. the festival stage. And so there's lots of new artists that were on board. Let's take a look at that. One thing that was new on the festival stage was boy band Evolution. I loved watching them. They did a fantastic job. And then there was a lineup of other artists that were playing around the ship. And sometimes you'll find really upbeat music and sometimes you'll find more relaxing stuff. But some of these artists and musicians I've seen before on other sailings. Some of them were new to me, but always fantastic to hear the latest music lineup. One of the other things that really changed my onboard experience was how experienced and how well the Happenings cast on this sailing works together. One of the things I love is Virgin Voyages will always play to the strengths of the talent of who's on board. We have a really talented Happenings cast on Resilient, and I saw the Red Wedding end in a way I've never seen before, with a song and a dance, and we all got to participate. It was really fun. Andre slayed out there tonight. It was really fun. But that was just something new and different that they had at this Scarlet Night that I've never seen before. And also bingo with the Diva. People always ask, like, how big is the jackpot? The jackpot on this sailing was actually pretty big. So it was really exciting to see someone win that big jackpot. Let's talk about the holiday theme and what changes I saw as a result of that. And then let's talk about some of the not so good and the amazing changes I've seen on board. But if you're getting some value out of this video, cheers that like button, consider subscribing, and don't forget, this is part of a series. If there's one thing that is guaranteed going to happen on Virgin Voyages, it's that you're gonna absolutely hate the app, but they are changing that soon.
Not soon enough.
But the other thing that's guaranteed is that there's just changes all the time. Virgin Voyages listens to us and they can implement changes very quickly, oftentimes before they're ready to change them. And so we will talk about some of those things. But first, let's talk about the holiday sailing. This was so much fun. Whether you like to be in the holiday spirit or you're someone like me who sails a lot, you get to experience some changes and differences on board. It goes beyond the really fun decor that you'll see all around the ship. You'll see it in the menus. And on the food items within each of the restaurants, there were special holiday menus where you could get a different dish that's normally not available during the rest of the year. And the other side, same thing with the beverage program. And a lot of people think like everything is alcoholic. Absolutely not. You can find a really nice lineup of not just cocktails that are holiday themed, but mocktails that are holiday themed. And so it was really fun to see that as well. Oh, even grog walk, the way they did grog walk, they did it as a holiday theme. There were so many things around the ship that were just a little bit different. Oh, the pajama party. The pajama party was the ugly sweater pajama party instead of a normal pajama party, still held in the same place, but people really turned up and turned out with their ugly sweaters. So the holiday theme made it just a really fun addition, but those were some of the things that were different on board. One of the things I participate in on every single sailing, whether I am sailing alone, this is my 4th sailing alone, or not, I brought my mom, I brought my friends, I brought everybody to the Solo Sailor Meetup. This is something you'll see in your app, but it's a great time to get some familiar faces around the ship, meet some people, and also meet the Happenings cast. Actually 2 changes I've noticed on board for Resilient is, one, they really are this happenings cast, trying to make a very special experience for the solo sailors. And so one thing that's different by ship is whether or not they will coordinate setting up a WhatsApp group. They also did a little bit more at the solo sailor meetups, in which they were a tiny bit more organized. At the Sail Away one, for example, they actually asked a question.
I'm at the solo sailor meetup, and I'm here with
Colleen,
and Colleen traveled in from
New Jersey.
And how many times have you been on Virgin Voyages?
This is my first time.
She's a virgin, and the question that they asked was, what are you looking forward to most on this voyage?
I'm looking forward to getting a tan and making all my friends jealous when I get back home.
Another thing that's different on board is the solo sailor dinners. Normally there's only one dinner on the first night at Razzle Dazzle, but this time around they had the ability for solo sailors to go down and get tickets to be able to go to the different restaurants and pair up with people if you don't want to dine alone. So that's something that was new that they offered each of the nights of this sailing. Let's keep it going with food, because we got bad news, or rather changes that people are not very happy with, and that's around Ship Eats. Ship Eats is, if you're like, what is that? It's delivery of food to your room. So the Ship Eats menu, I talked about this on my last sailing, that menu has shrunken down significantly. Like there's not a lot of there's lots of options on there, but it's not the same as what it used to be. So it's a smaller menu. But the new thing that actually changed halfway through the sailing, before there used to be a Ship Eats delivery, but it basically, if you ordered any item that costs money, whether a mocktail or a cocktail or a bottle of wine or a half bottle of wine or just something that costs some kind of money, then your delivery fee is waived and you just pay for that alcoholic drink or whatever that extra was, hot tea, whatever it is. But now you have to have a minimum on how much you get. Tempted to not even name the prices because things change so fast, but basically if you don't have a $10 minimum, then you pay the delivery fee. Just reporting the news. One other piece of bad news, things that changed. I mean, as much as I love paying over $300 in premium Wi-Fi for my devices, in case you didn't catch it in my last sailing video, Wi-Fi prices have gone up. Before, you used to have premium Wi-Fi, 2 devices. Now it's premium Wi-Fi, 1 device, and you pay a lower amount for each additional device. I know, weird, but I work really hard for you guys while I'm on these sailings, so cheers that like button, and tell me in the comments below when you're sailing, or if you're on this sailing, tell me what your opinion was. But to connect all of my devices that I work very hard with, I had to pay an additional amount for each of them. I got a lot of devices. Oh, we're about to hear from the other sailors, but one other change on this sailing, again, and it depends on who's on board, what entertainment is using which of the stages and spaces. One of the things I hear from people a lot is how much they love how much they transform each of the spaces on the ship. And so while the Red Room was in use for something else, on this sailing, I haven't seen Around the World with the Diva happen in the Manor in a long time. So I got to watch Around the World with the Diva in the Manor. Gila did an amazing job. Oh, I asked if I could, well, I was like, respectfully, I will not take a photo. And she was like, girl, go ahead. I was able to catch her out of drag. Oh, amazing. I love the transformation. She's so talented. All right, I'm Christine Lozada. Let's bring in some other sailors. Don't forget to be a smart sailor. Price compare. It only takes a minute. I know someone's going to write in the comments, well, should I use a travel agent or should I book direct? Price compare. Go to the website, price compare. Go to our website, price compare. It takes a second. Let's hear from other sailors.
It is Scarlet night tonight. I have been spending all day on my hair. I'm here with someone who's also spending all day on his hair.
Right.
Who are you? What's your name?
My name is Golden from Two Weekend Travelers.
You got to check out their YouTube channel. And this is not your first sailing. How many sailings have you been on?
This is our third one. This is actually our back-to-back. We did one before this.
And I'm so curious because every sailing is so different. How would you describe the vibe on this sailing?
Oh, it's a totally chill vibe. Everyone's relaxing, having fun. Everybody's welcome. Nobody's an outsider here.
Will you be dropping a video about this sailing?
Absolutely, 100%.
Heck yeah, check them out. I'll be linked below. Thank you for doing it.
Thank you. Not a problem.
I'm here with
Rosie,
Rosie. And where are you traveling in from?
Fort Lauderdale, Florida.
Love. And what are you most excited for?
I have made a whole PowerPoint of the itinerary, so I'm excited to make that come to life.
But I'm wondering, which port are you most excited for?
This one, St. Lucia.
St. Lucia.
Show you.
Everybody on Virgin Voyages is a rock star, but I'm actually here with a rock star. What is your name?
David.
And David saw me somewhere on this ship. Where did you see me?
I saw you during Lola's Library performance.
I got called onto the stage unexpectedly. And David, where are you from?
North Carolina.
And he's here on his first Virgin Voyages sailing.
Correct.
What's your favorite thing about it so far?
So far, the shows Persephone and Lola's Library are fantastic.
So good.
And the food, top notch.
I gotta hear it. What's your one favorite thing you've eaten so far? We're early in the voyage.
So far, the steak of the wake was fantastic. So far.
Yes. Thank you, David. There are secret things that happen on this ship that we just can't tell you about unless
We kill you afterwards.
I'm here with
Marissa Harper,
and Marissa is from
Dallas, Texas.
and this is your how many Virgin Voyages?
This is my third.
She is not a virgin. She did something tonight though that she ain't ever done before. What'd you do?
It was super fun. I can't tell you anything about it at all.
What is one word you would use to describe the experience?
Magical.
Wait, one last question. One favorite thing you've eaten? Just one. This is a hard question.
Hard question.
I know.
Pistachio macaron.
Upstairs in the galley.
It was delicious. Yes.
Did you eat just one?
No.
That's my girl. Here's an honest thing. A lot of people ask me, like, what's the difference between the ships? And I'm always like, literally nothing except the crew that's on board and the art. But on this one, the entertainment has made a huge, huge difference for me. And you've seen a show that I'm dying to see. And what's that show called?
Persephone.
And how would you describe your experience of Persephone?
I did not know about the venue. I didn't know it was going to be a smaller, intimate standing room experience. I did not
Wait,
know.
how long were you standing for?
I don't have a watch on this trip.
Long enough that you would...
Minutes.
Long enough that you shouldn't wear high heels that...
Wear comfortable shoes because you're also
I wear
on
Crocs.
ship and you're moving.
Yes.
Yes.
If you had one word to describe what it was like watching Persephone, what would you say?
It was magical.
Ooh. Oh, we're getting a lot of magical here. Okay, I'm not gonna lie. I've been trying to leave this sail away party for 30 minutes. This is one of the best sail away parties I've been to. It's a really fun crowd.